Mercury's entering Gemini, which means that your brain is going to be extra hungry right now. Mercury, the planet of communication, media, and magic, enters its domicile Gemini on June 3rd. Now, Mercury is moving very, very fast right now, so we don't have a lot of time to take advantage. Only 2 weeks. Mercury's going to only be here through June 17th. So we have exactly 2 weeks to take advantage of all the mercurial opportunities here. So we're going to cover Mercury's stay in Gemini in this video. So one of the things astrologers love, and you can love it too, now that you're here and now that you're clued in, is that we're going to get all the best things that Mercury can do in Gemini. So Mercury in Gemini really supports the learning of new information, like experimenting with data, ad-libbing, improv. Mercury in Gemini is kind of like a playful trickster parroting kind of energy. And so it adds, or it offers like a brightness of mind, a playfulness of mind. It kind of keeps us youthful in ways of like trying to say things a different way, to try different lingo, and to think about things in a different way. So this would be a really good transit to exercise your brain, to do puzzles, to do crossword puzzles, try different media sources, perhaps, like get some kind of new, different intake of information. Or maybe like the big change is I'm going to read some books, for example, because we've got Mercury in a conjunction with Jupiter. So I know a lot of people, especially while Jupiter's in Gemini, are going to be feeling the informational burnout and overload, and how it impacts us emotionally, how it impacts us spiritually, how it impacts our magnetic field, for example. Like, do you ever notice how irritable you are after you've been scrolling on your phone for an hour? Or how just, I notice it too, like when my kid gets off of her tablet, that's why I have to set a timer, is that like her energy is just kind of like balled up and is kind of like irritable and unable to like focus on you. So we have practices to shift, but just thinking about how technology has rewired our brain in so many different ways. And I think that Mercury's conjunction with Jupiter is going to say, maybe I want to read a book right now. Maybe I want to do something different, in other words. The other thing that's going to happen right away when we get Mercury entering Gemini is that we're also going to see Jupiter coming into an exact square with Pluto in Aquarius. So now we've got Jupiter in Gemini, and they're making their exact trine. So this is something that we're going to feel for more than just a day. We're feeling it like as soon as Jupiter entered Gemini at the end of May. And this is something I talked at length about in my webinar on Jupiter and Gemini. But this is a combination that describes about major technological leaps. So this is a time of experimentation with technology, Pluto trying to like own and control the technology, trying to wrangle it in, trying to control who can use it how, who owns it. So we do see that Plutonian energy there. But, hopefully there's some sort of free source ethos around this because it's a trine. But yeah, I mean, Pluto still wants to have some sort of control here. So yeah, I think it's going to really support the development of new technologies and the developing of like, at least in the experimentation phase of like, well, what else can we do with AI? What else can we do with this? And so we're going to see a lot of growth around these new technologies with this transit. So we get to benefit from that here. But yeah, Mercury in Gemini is good for reading, writing. If there's any kind of task in your life that requires you to rewrite something, let's say on your website, or to run the numbers, or to think about something from a business point of view, a numbers point of view, or if there's anything that like let's say you're watching this video because you're into astrology and you like astrological magic. Mercury in Gemini can be really good for workings and getting into that like playfulness and that intentional quality there. So this is really great for like finding things out, for doing research, for wanting to discover new things, Mercury and Gemini. And it's just where our mind is hungry while Mercury's in Gemini. Now, one of the more exciting pieces of this transit is going to be Mercury's Cazimi on June 14th. So Mercury's moving direct, it's moving very fast. It's going to pass the sun closest to Earth. So it's a direct Cazimi. So this is a really exciting one. This is basically like a full moon of sorts for Mercury. And yeah, it's like, I guess a new moon rather. Yeah, I don't know. People have differing opinions on that. But either way, this is an important time in Mercury's cycle where we're able to get the most out of Mercury. So pay attention if you're getting like a really good idea for something. If you're like, look for the aha moments with Mercury. So this is going to be happening on June 14th at 24 degrees of Gemini and 6 minutes. Now, at this point in the game, Mercury has just passed a square with Saturn 2 days prior on June 12th. So Saturn is once again involved in our Gemini Cazimis that we're having right now. So there's something about wanting to solve a problem, or trying to kind of like limit the data overwhelm, again, trying to solve an issue of data influx. Again, sometimes the issue with Gemini is like, there's too many possibilities, there's too many variables. So Saturn can be there to help kind of trim things down and say, no, that's dumb. I don't know why I thought that would work. Or no, we're just going to discard that. That's not really serving me in terms of like my time or my focus. So it can help get rid of distractions too. So Saturn's there to help get those distractions out of the way. Then we get this Cazimi, which is like the download, the insight, the like pivoting, the realization of like, oh, that's the ticket. So keep an eye out for that on the 14th. That's going to be probably one of the more important pieces of this. But overall, I really like and I'm excited about this Mercury and Gemini transit because we get so many components. We get the Cazimi, we get Jupiter, we get the trine to Pluto. Like there's so many things that we get here. So in this short little 2-week period, there's gonna be a lot that's happening up here. So especially if Mercury is your time lord, this could be a really exciting time for you. So I hope it's stimulating for you. I hope it's productive for you. And I hope it ultimately helps bring like an organized peace in motion, because we're not slowing down at all. But hopefully we can kind of like tame some of the weeds, if you know what I mean. So for right now, that is your astrology shot of the day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also head on over to my website, catherineurban.com, where you can book your next astrology reading. We'll go into depth into your natal chart, your progressions, your profections, your solar return, your transits, and beyond. You can also join my mailing list where you can stay up to date with me on new classes as well as article drops. I look forward to connecting with you, and I'll see you next time.